morning, everyone. You know what that sound means. It means it's time for another episode of Bina and Brady with a beer in a bathtub. I am Bina.
I'm Brady.
And today we are very excited to talk to you about something that has been very near and dear to our hearts for the last 2 weeks, and that is the Mighty Ducks franchise.
Man, it has been a ride. We have been watching these movies non-stop the last 2 weeks. Multiple times, really, just every night. It's been awesome.
Mostly the greatest couple of weeks of our lives. And what we've come up with is a couple of thoughts, some theories, some ideas.
Really specific to D1 for today, but D2 and D3 are coming later.
Yeah, that's how we're breaking it down. So today we're talking about Mighty Ducks, the first installment of the greatest trilogy of all time.
Greatest trilogy of all time, and I can't stress that enough. There is nothing else like it.
So, first question that we have, and for those of you who haven't seen the movies, 20 years later, we're going to give you the spoiler alert. Don't listen to this. Turn this off right now.
Go watch it.
Go to your library, find the VHS, dust off the VCR, and watch this movie.
Then turn this podcast back on and listen to our analysis.
Yeah, or listen to them side by side, because very much like The Wizard of Oz and Dark Side of the Moon, if you line them up, then...
play it backwards.
And it'll sound perfect. So... what we're coming to today, first question that I have for you, Brady. Who is the hero of the first installment of the Mighty Ducks franchise?
So this is a question that we struggle with. We all struggle with, I think. Obviously, if you've seen the movie, you think it's Conway. You've known as Conway since 1992 when the movie came out.
That is who the movie wants you to pick. And somehow they make you think that he is, A, the best player on the team.
Which he's not even close.
Not even close. They think that he's the most important character in this first one.
He doesn't really do anything.
No, he's not even there. He's not even introduced till like 3/4 of the way in the movie. That's an exaggeration, but... we don't get his name for a long time because we focus first on Gordon Bombay.
Yep, and Gordon Bombay. Man, what can you say about Bombay?
Alright, well, Gordon Bombay, you see his face on the cover, Emilio Estevez, Charlie Sheen's brother, doesn't even get the family name.
Obviously, the money shot of this whole entire movie is the best actor in this movie.
Kind of. He's the biggest name.
Biggest name.
I'll tell you what, he learned from the Robert Duvall school of overacting. But, so Gordon Bombay, is he the hero?
That is very debatable. And I do not think he is. I do not think he's even close. But let's go through the reasons why he could be the hero.
Okay. Alright.
So, he leads the team. He brings them to the championship. The obvious choice is he's the leader of that team, and he brings them together from nothing, from scraps. They're D5 when he gets them, and he turns them into the Ducks, which turns into a pro franchise.
That should never be forgotten. The pro franchise came after the movie.
So Bombay is the reason for a pro franchise in Anaheim. So, but here are the reasons why he's not the hero. He gets a DUI.
He does get a DUI.
He has a team turn on him.
Hold on. Let's talk about this DUI for a second. What sets him off? Why does he start drinking and driving?
So, Mr. Ducksworth, man, does not approve of Bombay's 30-1 record. Apparently, he wanted 30-0.
No, he didn't want 30-0. He wanted him to win. Score, don't spike. He gloated too much. He's this hotshot attorney. He's like the liar, the Jim Carrey of this movie.
Which I would argue... if you're winning, what does it matter? You're winning the cases, you're giving him money. Ducksworth is a businessman. He should just be getting money.
Spoken like a true Patriots fan. Right there. That's something you need to know about Brady off the bat.
Do your job.
Alright, so Bombay is criticized. Not even yelled at, not even disciplined. Just criticized for gloating too much.
Yep.
And what does that do?
Sets him off into a tirade. He's an alcoholic. Man,
he's not even just drunk driving. He's drinking as he's driving.
Yeah.
And
who does that?
He's doing it through a blizzard.
Yeah, in the middle of Minnesota. Man.
Which happens, apparently.
That
Us being in South Carolina, we may not know something about that. Alright, so Bombay, he gets this DUI, but that sends him on a redemption story, an important part of the sports movie template.
Yeah, that redemption story is he loses the control of his team twice over the next 30 minutes. So... let's break it down.
Alright, we break it down. So he comes back, he gets his team, and he's not very effective at the beginning, which you'd expect. He hates hockey and he hates kids.
Yep. So why does he hate hockey? Let's go back and rehash that.
Oh, man.
The opening
scene...
the
movie certainly rehashes it. It's a flashback every 35 seconds.
So the first scene of the movie...
and the 15th, and the 37th.
And the last, I think.
I think you're right.
So, it's him on his knees after he misses the...
Is it him, or is it like the tiniest child you've ever seen? He's supposed to be, what, 9 years old?
He's supposed to be 9, but it doesn't look like this kid's older than 4.
Yeah. He's just walking, and they said, all right, he can probably skate.
And he does okay. He's not great. The actor probably did a very good job learning how to skate in this movie. Anyway, so Bombay, in the opening scene, 4-year-old Bombay has a breakaway to win the. You don't really.
It's not a breakaway, isn't it?
Sorry,
a free shot.
It's a free shot. It's a penalty shot, and
we're going to penalties.
Yeah, apparently, well, they don't really hash this out in the first scene, but this penalty shot was not in a penalty shootout, but it was like the end of regulation, and he takes the penalty shot, and they're tied, so it's like to win the game, and he misses, and he's on his knees.
He's brokenhearted.
He's brokenhearted.
Well, you gotta think about the setup. So he's got this coach, right? Coach Riley. The world champion of Pee Wee hockey in Minnesota.
Their streak was legendary.
It's legendary. And so Coach Riley's coming to him, and what does he say? He says, son, if you miss this shot, you don't only let me down, you let the whole team down.
And that's a lot of weight to put on a 4-year-old.
And that's just the opening scene. When they rehash this later, we learn a little bit more information. He says, I wish your dad were here to see you win this game for us or something.
So his dad's dead.
He's dead. He's very much dead.
At age 4, it's crazy.
Much like Jacob Marley, he was dead in the beginning.
Yep. So you never really meet his dad. You see one flashback scene. It's a whole heartfelt thing. We're not going to go into that.
So it's part of the story. So Bombay, he's definitely the only character that has any amount of backstory or character development.
In this 104-minute movie.
Yeah, plus the other 104-minute movies in the franchise.
Because they're all 104-minute songs.
Yeah, somehow. I don't know. Someone might have been following a template. I don't know.
Very strict.
There might be an algorithm over at Disney that we don't know about. So, all right, we're getting off track. Bombay, is he the hero? He's got this backstory. He has this terrible hatred of hockey. He hates kids, but he overcomes all of that. Why? Because of the power of boners. He falls in love with Charlie Conway's mom,
who is just kind of the worst, really.
Conway's mom is the worst?
Conway's mom is the worst. She comes out.
Oh, yeah, okay, alright, wait, we need to talk about this for a second. Bombay, after, hot off of his DUI, coming out, he needs to set an example for his band of misfit pre-ducks. They're not even ducks yet. And he tells his driver to drive right out onto the ice.
How does he know the ice is okay?
I don't know, but he's very confident in that fact.
So that's okay, because he's endangering himself. At first.
But all of the kids, when the ice cracks, they all go in.
Well, they're a little bit away from the limo, so if the ice cracks, they have time to get away. Bombay does not. He's in the car. But 3 minutes later, all the kids are in the car, and this could set a weight distribution on the ice. It could crack it. This is not good. Not a good situation at all.
We need some finite element analysis on that and see when it will break. Where's it gonna break?
Oh man, we should get Dr. Zhang in here.
Oh, you're right. Next guest.
First guest.
All right, so he drives out on the ice, and that introduces Conway's mom.
So Conway's mom just walks out on the ice, and this is the first thing you really hear from Conway. He goes, "That's my mom. Man, she looks pissed."
She did look pissed. Because she should have been.
She should have
Any mom. And this is a single mother, right? This is a single mother.
The only thing in her world is Charlie Conway.
And Gordon Bombay endangered his and the lives of many youths across of Minnesota by driving out onto the ice.
Of the worst Pee Wee hockey team in the league.
But that doesn't mean he can't be the hero. Because he's just a bad driver. He's bad with cars.
Well, he wasn't the driver.
Well, he's bad with cars.
All right, he's bad with cars and doesn't understand weight distribution.
You could argue I'm also bad with cars. And I'd like to think of myself as the hero. So, Bombay, is he a hero? We've established some tragic flaws in his character.
And you think he's overcoming them.
But to become a tragic hero, you have to have those tragic flaws. We're going back to 8th grade literary science here.
Yeah, the Odyssey even.
Exactly. You read my mind.
So, Bombay is the hero. To me, no. He does pills during...
He does pills, which is one of the many things that the writers decided they were going to add into the movie and then never address again. The most famous instance of that, of course, being...
Goldberg. when he says he's moving to Philly, and then never does.
Yeah, Goldberg introduces. So Bombay comes to this team. Hey, do we have a goalie? Right here, coach. But not for long. I'm moving to Philly, and they never talk about it again. All that does is explain why the Philadelphia fan in the writers' room was allowed to have a character wear all Philly gear all the time
throughout the entire series.
Yep, it's true. The whole series, and they never mention it.
Yeah, and he never moved back to Philly.
So did he? What's the word when you leave your parents? And
emancipate?
Did he emancipate himself so he could stick with the Ducks?
At age 9? Is that legal?
I mean, it's not illegal.
Should we be doing an audit on Goldberg's family?
Yeah, somebody check where Goldberg's family is. Because if they move to Philly without him, I mean, it's great for a hockey team that ultimately doesn't matter, but for his life, I'm concerned.
I'm very concerned.
He doesn't seem worried about it, though.
Yeah, but because he has Coach Bombay in his...
Yeah, plus he goes to fat camp.
Which is a whole different thing.
You're right. All right, so Bombay, not the hero.
Not the hero.
So then who is the hero?
All right, so we already went through Bombay. Conway's the obvious hero that they want you to think.
When you look back on your experience with the Mighty Ducks, you will definitely think Conway is the hero. But that's not the case.
That's not the case at all. So, let's go to the next obvious choice. Well, not so obvious, really. Banks.
Adam Banks. Adam Banks?
Adam Banks.
Adam Banks coming to you from the Hawks. They pick him up due to a technicality.
That Hans figured out.
Yeah, so maybe Hans the hero.
Maybe
we'll
not.
We'll get to that. Banks as the hero. He's definitely the most talented member of the Ducks.
Yeah, he's not as talented as Bombay was, but
he wants it more.
He wants it more.
That comes from Coach Riley himself, so you know it's true. All right, so he comes in, and he has to leave all his friends.
He does.
And not only does he leave his friends, all of his friends now hate him.
Yeah, they shun him completely. Except for one, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, so think about it. Think about it like this. You're on a Little League team. You're playing... What did you play when you were growing up?
Well, I played soccer growing up.
Okay, all right. So you're on your soccer team, and you were friends with all of those people.
I was friends with everybody. They were my next-door neighbors. Yeah. They were all around me, and I hung out with them every day.
Exactly. And you've been doing this for years. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, your championship team, amongst your friends, gets taken away from you.
Which... By the way, that championship team has not lost a championship since 1972.
74?
72.
72.
They were in second place with Bombay's missed shot. Fun fact.
And we know that because they still hang the banner next to all of the first place championships, which apparently was from 70s all the way through now. I don't think they've ever lost a game.
Yeah, they're undefeated except for that one game, the championship game, where he missed a shot, not even to cost them the game, just not win the game.
Exactly. All right, So Banks is coming from a pretty good team here, and he gets taken away from it. He loses his friends, and his friends all turn on him.
Yep.
And he's not accepted by the new team.
Not accepted by the new team.
Jesse comes in, calls him a cake eater.
Cake eater, man.
Banks doesn't even know what that means. He uses it later because he thinks it's cool.
Yeah, he thinks it's cool, but it's not. It's not that cool. It's not very cool.
Jesse kept thinking he was from some kind of hood. I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking.
Where's the hood in Minneapolis, Minnesota?
I have no idea. It wasn't even Minneapolis.
It was Duluth.
Was it Duluth?
It was Duluth, Minnesota.
Is Duluth in Minnesota?
Probably.
All right. It all runs together, man. I'm a Midwest guy, and I don't even know. All right. So Banks coming in. He's got the most difficult situation in this crew, and he's the best player, and he's really what sets him over the top. You could argue he's a ringer.
Yeah, he is.
Does that make him a hero?
The ringer helps him make it because he puts up with a lot of adversity.
He's got
a ton of adversity.
He's got adversity.
He even had adversity on his own team because all the other teams hated him. Nobody else hated. They didn't hate the rest of the Hawks.
Yeah.
They just hated Banks because he was the best.
He had a target on his back,
and he wanted it. Yeah, that's why when he went to the Ducks, which they were the Ducks when he got there.
Yep.
He was hated. He was absolutely hated. Charlie was the only one that reached out a hand and tried to. So maybe Charlie.
Maybe Charlie is the hero.
We're coming back.
All right, we'll come back to that. All right, so we got Banks, potential hero. Conway. I mean, I can't give him the hero.
I don't think so.
Whatever. All right, so like you mentioned, we got Hans coming your way. Who is Hans?
All right, so Hans was Bombay's old friend. He's the owner of the skate shop that's right down the road from Bombay, and where Bombay goes to get his skates and all that stuff.
And he's kind of like a local hero. So like Bombay interacts with him, but he also sells the supplies for this entire league.
Oh, absolutely.
So everyone knows Hans.
Yeah, and that's why Hans knew the district lines. He knew they were redrawn. He's really into this Pee Wee hockey league that they got going on.
Yeah.
And so he redraws, or he finds the redrawn line is a technicality that Banks was actually now in District 5, which Bombay also apparently lived in the same house as Banks, because he also would have been in District 5 had they redrawn the line.
Oh, man, that is rough. Rough stuff. I mean, Bombay and Banks, the parallels are there. They keep trying to shove this Charlie Conway kid in our face. Banks and Bombay should have had a closer relationship.
Yeah, they're the same person.
But I want to say something about Hans real quick. All right, so Hans, if you want to age him, 70s, probably
70s.
Somewhere in his 70s. Why is he so invested in Pee Wee hockey? He doesn't have a kid anywhere in the league.
Because of the Disney dynamic, we'll never know that.
We'll never know, but I'm not convinced that's a up and up relationship between him and a Pee Wee hockey league.
I don't think so either. There might be some dark stuff there.
Yeah, maybe that's just my education from Penn State coming out.
That's exactly what that is.
let's move on before we get shut out. All right, so Hans, can't give it to him.
No.
All right, so Mr. Ducksworth.
Quack, 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 quack. Mr. Ducksworth.
Absolutely not. We're
not even gonna mention. He's the namesake of the team.
Oh, but man, Mr. Ducksworth.
He is the reason the Anaheim Mighty Ducks are called the Anaheim Mighty Ducks.
That is true. He is the reason for a pro franchise. He donates that $15,000 to the team, and they run with it, and they do great. But later on in the movie, you find out he's kind of in cahoots with the Hawks. So, is he the good guy?
No, he's a lawyer. He owns a law firm. Never going to be a good guy.
Never going to be a good guy. That's why Bombay's a good guy after he leaves the law firm.
All right. Let's keep it. Let's bring it back to the Ducks. We'll bring it back to the Ducks and say Fulton.
So Fulton is a weird case. He is the definition of a ringer in a movie.
That is true.
All right, so let's define a ringer real fast for all the viewers who don't know.
No, we're not defining. That's another podcast. We've got a whole podcast coming your way about all the ringers and why they're the best.
It's gonna be the best.
The best.
The best of podcasts.
All right.
So Fulton, he is the reason they win in a sense because they would not get over the hump without him. They wouldn't have won the Cardinals game. No. They wouldn't have made it to the playoffs.
What did Fulton provide?
He provided a shot.
A shot. So he has this 1 out of 5 shot that is defying all set logic of probability and statistics.
Why is he 1 out of 5? For one, he's been practicing forever.
He's been practicing because he can't skate.
He can't skate, so all he does is shoot. So
into a suitcase, not even a goal.
Yeah, so this thing is smaller than a goal.
Yeah. All he does, he winds up and he fires, and somehow that works out to 1 out of 5 every time. It's not even just like I've done 100 and 20 of them went in. He does 1 out of 5 just right for Bombay, and then again on the ice as a decoy.
Yeah, he does 3 out of 15, and then he does the Statue of Liberty play.
The Statue of Liberty play.
He's the original Statue. He's the reason Boise State won against Oklahoma that one year.
Yeah, you're welcome, Coach Peterson. I don't remember his first name.
I don't either.
So Fulton, but also he provides a little bit, not quite the muscle yet.
Not the muscle
yet.
That's
That's coming with the Bash Bros. That's D2.
They imply that he's going to because he's a football player.
Yeah.
He has scholarships to D1 already in 6th grade.
6th grade. Is that a thing? We'll have to talk to Nick Saban. I think that's probably a thing.
That's probably a thing at this point. Maybe not in the 90s though.
Yeah, you're right. Dude, Miami was doing things in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
That was definitely a thing.
So maybe
Miami came calling to Fulton and was like, "Yo, we got this thing brewing over here. You want to be a part of."
Which Fulton is very clearly 17 years old in this movie.
Yeah. Also, can you imagine Fulton being part of that early 90s Miami Hurricane squad?
Oh, man, that would have been the best. They would have not lost the national championship ever with Fulton on that team.
Maybe to Penn State.
All right. But Fulton would have been on that team at the beginning.
You're right.
He wasn't old enough.
You're right. All right. So, we've got Fulton coming your way. Is he a hero, though?
He's not a hero. Well, he is a hero. He's not the hero.
Okay. All right. He's more of the ringer, which we'll get to in another podcast.
Yeah, we'll get to that. That's coming your way in a couple weeks.
All right. Moving down the line, we got Averman.
Averman
is my personal hero. Averman does everything that I ever want to do on a sport.
You are the hype man, essentially, of the team.
I'm convinced of two things. Averman was never given a script. The guy who played Averman he wasn't even casted. He showed up on the lot. He was probably supposed to be a sound guy holding the boomstick, and he just kept getting into the hockey action. He was like, ooh, the bankster coming in with the goal, the carpster stopping the puck with his head. Like, he's not even saying anything clever or original, but it doesn't stop him from saying anything.
Yeah.
Kind of like this podcast.
Oh, kind of like this podcast.
Averman's the inspiration.
But, alright, so Averman might be kind of a villain, and we'll get to that later.
Oh, shit. How's he a villain?
Oh, man, when Carp...
Wait, can we curse on this?
Yes, absolutely.
Alright. Sorry, sponsors.
Zach, our producer, is not going to care.
You're right. He's adding in curses.
He might care right now at 7:30 in the morning.
Oh yeah, we might. Our producer's our roommate, and we might be waking him up right now.
So, Averman is making fun of Carp after he had a detrimental brain injury. He didn't even know who he was.
It ended his hockey career.
Yeah,
and it sent him to deal with Tony Perkis at Fat Camp.
And this is the reason Alex got into helmet control.
Yeah, you're right.
This movie
inspired my entire research line.
Oh man, we'll get into that later.
So we want to save it, but Averman breaks the tension with his comedic relief.
Yeah, absolutely, and he does that for the entire series, and you kind of hate him for it.
But also in D1, he's kind of one of their best players.
Oh yeah, he does score. He scores one of the game-winning goals, I think, in the second round of the playoffs or something. They wouldn't get over the hump without Averman, so maybe he's kind of a hero too. He's got that hero-villain aspect to him.
All right.
So Goldberg.
All right. So Averman maybe, but Goldberg's the goalie. Single worst goalie in sports history.
I've never seen him try. I saw him try once, and he got
one
scored
time, and he failed.
Yeah, he failed miserably.
He is very excited to get out of it. He's playing dodgeball out there. Is what he's doing.
Yeah, essentially is what he's doing. And in the championship game, Conway it hits Goldberg by accident, and Bombay yells out, "Good save, Goldberg," and it was the first time he had saved anything the entire
literally anything.
The first time.
But somehow, all right, we'll get to Goldberg more in later podcasts because once he has competition in goal, it becomes a much more interesting story.
Yes.
But he can't be the hero because he lets up 950 goals in this movie.
They are losing because of him.
Yeah. All right. So Goldberg, you're out. You're supposed to be in Philly anyway. We got missing persons out for you. All right. Guy Germain, Guy is what they call him.
In the first movie.
That might be a Minnesota thing. I don't know. Like
it
Guy and Guy, I don't know.
Yeah.
But Guy Germain, definitely the most hockey name of the bunch.
Yeah.
If you're named Guy Germain, it's kind of like if you're named Colt McCoy in Texas. You're going to be a high school football, or you're going to be a football quarterback.
You're going to be a pee-wee hockey player with Guy Germain. That's what you are.
That's what you are.
So is he any good at all?
Who is he?
I don't even know.
Yeah, he's just a guy that's on there. But here's the thing. He's in all three of them.
Yes.
And he has a love interest also on the team through all three of them.
With Connie. D'Amico.
Connie. Is Connie the hero?
I don't think it's D'Amico.
That sounds right.
All right, it's Connie D'Amico.
Is it Tommy and Tammy D'Amico?
That's right.
All right. See, here's the confusion. It's like there's two girls, and so how are you going to distinguish them?
On a pee-wee hockey team.
Bands of misfit teams only ever have one girl. If you have two, it's very confusing.
It's very confusing. Nobody remembers last names at all.
Man, Jezebel's going to call us out. I'm very excited for that.
Oh, man.
All right, so is Connie the hero?
No,
not at all. She's the most bold. When Bombay shows up, she introduces herself. She's all in on this coach. She just wants to play hockey.
And she's arguably the enforcer at the beginning of the movie.
That's true.
She comes in and hits Goldberg.
She does.
Averman.
Is it Averman?
It's Averman.
She hits Averman, then introduces herself. Because Averman's being a dick.
Yeah, Averman is a dick.
Alright, so Connie, maybe the hero, but...
Maybe the early hero. We'll say early hero.
The early hero, but she disappears.
She does disappear.
She's, like, not even mentioned except for a forced relationship with this guy kid.
Yep.
Yeah, they start macking hard.
Yep.
So Connie, I wish you had more, honestly.
I do,
They gave you the Black Widow treatment.
You
want you to look good and not give you anything.
Yeah, absolutely. You will never get a solo movie.
It's a bummer. Alright, Jesse Hall.
Jesse Hall, yes. I think he is a hero.
He is a hero.
Yeah, but also he has some diminishing qualities. Like, he's very racist. He you got Cake Eater. He embraces the Oreo line.
What's the Oreo line?
The Oreo line is Jesse's brother, who nobody knows his name, and he might not have a name.
I'm not convinced he does.
And Guy Germain.
Guy.
Oh, man. So they come up on the first game of the season.
Think about Jesse's brother, also black.
Yeah. And Guy Germain, the whitest kid you know.
The whitest kid you know. Whiter than me, even.
Whiter than anybody in South Carolina. Minnesota, known for their white people.
That's true.
We'll edit that out.
It's on their it's on their license plate.
So they come up the first game.
Can we edit that out? We can't edit. I don't know how to edit.
I don't know how to edit.
You're getting this live, man. Raw, uncut.
So they come up the first game of the season against the Hawks, no less. They're playing the best team in the league, and it's Bombay's first game.
Of course it's the first game.
Yeah.
You got to drum up the backstory.
Yeah, exactly.
We need another reason to show that flashback.
Which they do.
They do.
Oh, man, they do. They do a lot. So Jesse, Guy, and Jesse's brother come up in that order to do the face-off. Who comes up in a face-off 3v1? Nobody does that.
Well, in their defense, no one ever taught them how to play hockey.
Yeah, but they're 9. They played for this game for at least a year.
At least a year? Do you start when you're 8?
I don't know.
You don't start football when you're 8.
You start when you're 5.
Ugh.
I know, that's a
y'all,
lot of...
Y'all are crazy.
That's a lot of head trauma.
So much head trauma.
Oh, man.
With so much trauma and I don't know. Alright, anyway, point of the story. Jesse comes up, he embraces the Oreo line.
He does embrace the Oreo line, he kind of rallies the team until Banks gets on the team, and then he splits them apart.
He does. He does not accept Banks.
I don't know why.
Well, think about their background. So Banks is coming from, he's a country club kid.
Yeah.
He's a country club kid. Jesse, coming from what I think is a single father. I think that can be
has
established.
to be a single father.
Working 2 jobs, still takes time out of his day to watch his son play hockey.
Yeah, and he gave up his overtime pay.
Yeah, so maybe he's the hero.
He might be the hero.
So,
actually, Jesse's father...
hero.
Yeah, here's to you, Jesse's father. You should have been the coach.
Yeah, he almost was, because Bombay was screwing up hard.
Yeah, for two times in 104 minutes. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Actually, 3 times if you count the alcoholism.
Right. Alcoholism, then not accepting the team, then calling them losers.
Alright, so I'm going to address the unsung hero in this movie.
Okay.
The driver.
The driver. Who's driver? Who is this guy?
This is Bombay's driver because he has a DUI and he can't drive for whatever amount of time.
And somehow he's more dangerous in a car.
Yes, it's amazing. He gets on the ice. Apparently, Bombay not gonna condone this act at all. But apparently, he's a very good drunk driver. He was not all over the road or anything. He just had loud music.
It was a blizzard.
Yeah,
he was all over the road. He was fishtailing. It was crazy.
You're right. It was a blizzard, but that's.
Thankfully for the Duluth Police Department. Shout out to the Duluth Police Department for keeping those streets safe.
Yeah, they got him fast. They got him fast. He was only there for he was only on the road for maybe a minute.
Not even a minute.
Yeah,
he got the full Adam Sandler, Paul Crew treatment.
It was a whittle loud.
Yeah.
So the driver.
Oh yeah, he does say the greatest line of the movie. We have to address that. The cop comes to him. All right, we gotta take you downtown to the precinct. Blood, breath, or urine? No thanks, I'm full. And he laughs. He laughs at his own joke. He's the only one in the car, and he's just giggling to himself. He's so drunk.
Man, he is very drunk.
I wouldn't know anything about giggling at my own jokes.
It's very established that Bombay is really drunk.
All right, so who were the driver?
The driver. So does Bombay get to any of these games without that driver? No. How would he get there? So he might be the ringer too.
No, stop. The driver is only there so it makes Bombay seem less crazy when he's talking to himself.
Yeah, but why is this driver even there?
We'll come back to that. We'll circle back to what I think the reason and the purpose of the driver is.
All right.
All right, so we never finished our Jesse commentary. Jesse, he could be a hero, except he breaks up the team because he never accepts Banks.
So without that, he's the obvious hero.
Because think about, so Bombay introduces himself to this team, this band of misfits, and Jesse steps up and establishes himself as the leader. He comes like, yo, you in the wrong hood. We don't sell it. We don't deal in that drug game, man. You best be able to step before I take your eyeballs and use them as hockey pucks. That's what Jesse said.
He does said that. He said word for word. That is a direct quote.
And were they in a hood?
No.
But they were not in an affluent environment.
No, I don't know what their environment was, but it can't be that rough in Minnesota. I don't know.
They were trying to establish it as a hood. I mean, it's kind of so the first scene with these kids is very similar to the first scene with the kids of the Big Green. Ooh. In order to have fun, they have to be getting into trouble. So the Big Green, their idea of fun is buying a bag of Cheetos, pouring it on themselves, and allowing birds to attack them.
Yeah, so essentially that's what they established in D1 with the poop dollar.
The poop dollar. The first ever example of the poop dollar.
They invented the poop dollar.
And
you're welcome.
They started And it was successful because not only did it get somebody to pick down and pick it up, somebody stopped driving a car, got out, saw it, was like, ooh, $1 and a purse.
A purse and $1.
He deserved what he got.
He deserved what he got. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter. Oh, we didn't talk about Peter.
Oh, we're not talking about Peter.
He's so Italian.
He's very Italian. Has a backwards hat.
He does have a backwards hat.
And a leather jacket.
That's everything you need to know about Peter.
I think he grows up to be the guys from Greece.
Oh, yeah. He grows backwards in time to become Danny Zudo from Greece. I think that's his name.
It might be.
All right, so we haven't talked about a specific group of people that could be the hero, and it's time for you to shine, Brady.
All right,
who is the hero?
Here's my theory for who the main, maybe not the hero.
Well, let's at least talk about the front runner before we get into the what you believe is the true hero.
Right. Okay.
Our front runners right now. So we got Banks, definitely the most adversity. Is the reason the Ducks win.
He's my front runner. Well, he's my second front runner behind who we've teased.
All right. Jesse's father, absolute hero.
Absolute hero, but not for this movie, just in life.
In life, respect Jesse's father. Is that it? Is that all we came up with as a hero?
Conway's not a hero.
No,
Bombay's not a hero. Karp
is definitely not a hero. It takes the puck to the face like a champion, man.
So, you could argue Fulton, but he's not. He's
a ringer, not a hero.
Oh, Hans.
But it's that connection to Pee Wee hockey. I just can't get behind.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
If you don't have a kid in the league,
why are you there?
No, I'm out. I'm out on Hans.
Yeah, he's not providing a service to the league.
Well, he is. He sells all the equipment.
Yeah, but
so maybe it's in his best interest to know everything about this league.
All right. So
he's a businessman.
This is a businessman,
but not a hero.
Not a hero. All right. So my theory is that the Hawks are actually the front-running hero for
the Hawks.
The Hawks.
The villainous, over-championed Hawks.
All right. So these Hawks, we're excluding Coach Riley from this discussion.
Yeah, because he's not the hero.
He is not the hero. We're talking about the team, the Hawks.
What is Coach Riley's best piece of advice?
You run it up.
It's not worth winning if you can't win big.
Yes.
And that's terrible advice.
Is it, though?
Yes.
He's teaching winning.
All right, Belichick, calm down. Talk about your Hawks.
All right, so
your New England Patriots of Minnesota Pee Wee hockey.
So this Hawks team, as we've established, is the best. It's literally, it probably has not lost a game since Bombay.
They've got a streak going that would make Coach Wooden jealous.
They have articles that in the front page of the news that says the streak ends.
Yeah.
On a missed penalty shot.
Yeah.
So
it's hanging in Bombay's foyer right now.
So this Hawks team, it's actually hanging in Hans's foyer. This Hawks team is obviously not well coached in the sense that they're not learning a lot of fair play and all that stuff, but they know the fundamentals.
They can play hockey.
They can play hockey at 9, and apparently this Hawks team is like a funnel into the NHL at age 9. A funnel. All right, so Bombay had it all.
He was predicted to go all the way.
He could have been one of the greats, but he ain't nothing but a has-been.
A has-been. He's not even a has-been.
No, not even a has-been. He's a never was. Man,
he got that line right out of the Replacements playbook.
Yes, he did.
Or vice versa. I
probably the vice versa.
I think it's the other way around. Right. Who is Martel?
Who's Martel?
Martel. He's a big fan of the Mighty Ducks series.
Coach Riley.
Yeah.
Which I imagine he does. So the Hawks, they're listening to their coach. All they're doing is listening to their coach, with the exception of the person who injured Banks.
That's all he did. That's not an exception.
He was doing his job. All right, we're back in.
Alright, so this Hawks team, don't forget that their warm-ups were the hockey equivalent of defensive slides. So you know they were dicks.
Yes, absolutely.
This is your Duke Blue Devils of the... I'm sorry, Aunt Barbara, but this was your Duke Blue Devils, the team you love to hate.
They're slamming their hockey sticks. They're trying to intimidate the other team. Is essentially all they're doing. They're not even warming up. They're not shooting the puck. Their goalie's in the background trying to be a part of the team. It's a whole thing. But they're obviously very good at hockey. They haven't lost a game in 20 years. And this ragtag team of D5, whatever, this joke of a team, not even just to the Hawks, but to the entire league, comes along and wins 2 games in the regular season and thinks they're entitled to the championship.
Hey, they earned the ship, man. You got to win in the playoffs. That's what it matters.
Yeah.
Everyone knows. I think even Bill Belichick would argue that the regular season, it doesn't matter. You get your 12 wins, you get into the playoffs, then you let it happen.
And I'm okay with that. But when you only have 2 wins and 11 losses, do you deserve to be in the playoffs?
Yeah. No. Oh gosh, no. Not at all. Something's wrong. This is part of that everyone gets a trophy mentality that I love.
Yeah, I absolutely hate this.
Because you were an athlete. Yeah. I was not. So you have to remember, I'm not getting trophies if that's not a rule.
Oh, man. So I hated getting that sportsmanship trophy. It was like an insult.
It is hanging off of my dresser right now.
Oh, man. He's not telling a lie there.
All right, so you love the Hawks, but also think about how the Ducks trained. Their training consisted of what? Throwing a football around.
That was a joke.
And later on they're picking up trash. They're playing duck hockey.
Well, that's in a different movie. That's in the 3rd movie. That's a long way away.
Oh man, that's so far away.
Man, that's weeks.
That's like tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. Yeah, and they're hitting eggs to each other. How is that practice?
Soft hands.
Soft hands. We didn't even talk about that. Oh man, that's later on. We'll get to that.
We'll get there. All right, so the Hawks are the heroes.
The Hawks are absolutely the heroes.
But also they've got that kid on their team, the Idris Banks, the headhunter.
He might be
in a great scene. This kid finally shows that he loved Banks. I think there was some sort of romantic aspect to it.
There might have been. If they hadn't been broken up, who knows?
Who knows? So Riley's like, look, the Ducks team is basically going to go as far as Banks takes them. So we need to take him out of the game. I want him done. He learned from Sean Payton.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Man.
Sean Payton's school of bounty hunting.
Bounty Gate, man. Yeah.
Remember all of the gates?
All the gates.
That didn't involve the Patriots?
Antonio Gates.
Oh, man. So many gates in the NFL. So Riley tells his team, we got to get Banks out of here. So, a couple plays down the line, Banks is coming down. He gets hit. He gets popped. He hurts himself. He's out of the game. He's on the stretcher.
Yeah, he's on a stretcher. He's unconscious.
And a hero from the Hawks rolls over and he's like, man, Banks, are you all right? Like, what's happening? And he turns to his teammate and he goes, what did you do? And what does the teammate say?
My job.
My job. That's the kind of coaching you get out of Coach Riley.
Yeah, so
is that the kind of coaching you need to win?
Apparently not, because they lose. They lose.
Maybe that's what they needed to show.
Yep.
The Hawks had to sacrifice their championship to show that Coach Riley was a bum.
Absolutely.
He's the varsity blues coach.
I'd like to think he gets fired after this.
Probably. Well, who fires a youth coach?
Banks' dad.
Banks' dad is all in on him. Banks' dad is the worst. Banks' dad.
All right, so hold on. Let's rehash.
All right,
let's rehash. We'll figure out who the hero of this movie is, and then we can move on to what we really want to talk about.
Okay, what do we really want to talk about?
Oh, we really want to talk about
villains. That'll be our next podcast. Our villains, our MC Ren. That's dedicated to MC Ren.
Oh, MC Ren.
He's a motherfucking villain, and I had to censor myself. So, who is our hero? What do we want to? Do we want to have a hero?
I think it comes down to 2 people. It's Banks and Jesse's father.
Well, they're the true heroes. And then the Hawks as a sleeper pick for the hero.
Sleeper pick for the hero.
And if you disagree with us, watch it again. Because I know you want to say Conway. I believe you. Trust me. I was like, Conway was really good at hockey. Yeah. He's the leader of this team. Not the case at all. He did learn the triple deke, though.
He did learn the triple deke.
And he does win the championship with it.
He
filled out what Bombay should have done.
Yeah, his fantasy, really.
Yeah. And we didn't even talk about Bombay and Conway's mom.
No, man,
we've got a lot coming your way, but I think we need to wrap this up because we've been talking for way too long.
All right. So, our heroes, Banks, Jesse's father, and the Hawks. If you disagree with what you think...
Also, I don't sign off on the Hawks.
All right, this is just a Patriots fan talking from the heart here. And so if you don't...
Well, because what's your belief on underdogs?
Oh, man, they are the worst.
Underdogs are the worst. Colin Coward up in here, hating on the underdog.
Well, they just don't deserve to win. They didn't prove themselves throughout anything, and then they just take the championship from the deserving Patriots.
Or maybe the system is targeted against them, and so it's impossible for them to win until they're on the big stage.
No.
Alright, we're going to end it there. We talked about the heroes. Next up, we got to talk about the opposite, the villains. Who is the villain? Who are you cheering against in the Mighty Ducks? Yes, it's the Hawks. But there's probably some others, so we need to cheer.
Yeah, so if you disagree with our opinions, hit us up on Twitter. We don't have a Twitter, but hit us
I
up
have a Twitter.
All right,
Hit me up on Twitter. K-City Hustle. Repping the K-City.
Depending on how this goes, we might make a Twitter. Who knows?
Oh, yeah, maybe we need to.
We should make a Twitter.
We got a Twitter coming your way. We're going to release this somehow, and we hope you like it. This is Bina and Brady signing off, telling you to remember, call your mother.